Hello again, everyone. It is time for another episode of the Community Connection Show, the show that brings you positive stories and encouraging news as we interview top leaders in every sector of the community. And now, here is your host, national speaker and best-selling author, Ryan Sauers.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Community Connection Show with Ryan Sauers. I am super excited to have my friend Ed Piotrowski, WPDE, ABC 15 in Myrtle today. He's docking it out in the studios, missing the hurricanes, all kinds of things going on. Ed, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. No big hurricanes to worry about, no major severe weather, so life is good.
Yes, and we were talking before we went on air. You've 2 years in a row of snow and no hurricanes. Unusual.
It's very unusual. I mean, who would have said Myrtle Beach was going to get 2 5-inch snows and not have a single hurricane in the course of a year? That was not on my bingo card.
It was not on your bingo card, and I know you had to change some travel plans around, but hopefully you got to do that because you worked about 24 hours a day, 5 days in a row.
It's a lot of fun, though. It's my job is like a hobby to me, so it's kind of fun.
Well, first, I just want to say in the beginning, you do so much, and I couldn't think of a better guy to bring on the show. You do so much in the community. You really do. And I mean, you're always I'm just saying this. I have no reason to say it, but thank you for doing this, and thank you for all the stuff you do in the community, making lives better. It's really just something I wanted to say. And but let's get a little bit of background. So where are you from originally?
So my dad was in the Marine Corps for 30 years. So I'm from all over, if you will. I was born in Hawaii, if you can believe that. I was 2 years old when I moved away, so I don't remember it at all. We lived in California, Texas, New Jersey, the Carolinas, but I've been in Myrtle Beach now for 32 years. So I guess this is kind of home. It's more than half my life spent here in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, cool. So you got to see a lot of things and been down whatever. So tell me about the journey of how you end up in meteorology. I mean, how did that develop?
You know, as a kid, I've always loved the weather. I mean, I remember when we were in South Texas, if there was even a threat for a snowflake, which is very rare, I, of course, would go outside and just stare at the streetlight all night long. So I knew I wanted to do weather from a very young age, but I had no clue that I would ever end up on television to do it. It's just one of those things where I went through high school. My dad got stationed back in North Carolina, and I decided to go talk to a television meteorologist because I wanted to learn more about the weather. And sure enough, he let me intern, and I went to school at North Carolina State University, got my degree, and I got my first job in Eastern North Carolina as a weekend meteorologist, and then moved to Myrtle Beach in January of 1994. And as they say, the rest is history. That's where I've been for the rest of my career.
That's very cool. So did you actually, I mean, a true fact, I'll tell you, I took, with my wife, now girlfriend at the time, in college, I took a meteorology course. Now, she learned more than I did because every time I asked her, I said, it's the wedge. And she said, Ryan, the wedge is when we were in Atlanta. I said, okay, I'll ask Ed. She's like, he's going to think you're an idiot. But did you have to did you get a degree? Did you study that at school?
I sure did. I got a Bachelor of Science degree from NC State in meteorology, which I jokingly said just makes me an educated weather guesser, you know. But hey, your wife's speaking my language when she talks about the wedge, though, man. That's a real deal.
I tell you, I told her I was going to do it, but I mean, it's El Nino and wedge for 33 years. Tell me all these things, and she's like, "Don't you remember what I said?" I said, "I don't know what you said. I'm going to check with Ed to see if you're even have any official track." But very cool. So. Yeah, so being down here, well, let's talk about that. I mean, how much have things grown in your 32 years down here?
Well, Broadway at the beach, everybody goes there when they come to Myrtle Beach. That did not exist when I started here in January 94. And I was talking to a buddy of mine just this morning about, January, February, when it rolled around in the mid 90s, they were rolling up the sidewalks. There was no restaurants open. You couldn't do anything. But now, it's all year round. We have visitors. So it's grown tremendously. The population has grown. You can go to a different restaurant every single night for 7 years and never eat at the same restaurant. So it's pretty amazing how much this place has grown.
Yeah, I've just been, the last couple of years being back and forth, just seeing just in every direction going up towards, Calabash, all the way down towards Conway and Florence, just growth and people coming into the area. So it's really cool to see. Well, so what is it like? I mean, let's get into you've had 2 years, we were just alluding to, recent snow at the beach that I actually got to witness, which is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. But when you go into these kind of things, you're pretty much 24/7 giving updates. I mean, people don't realize, but I'm sure the time it takes to try to figure these models out.
Right. No, you're right. I like to say there's 10 Super Bowls a year, 10 big weather events a year where people really, really depend on you to give them a forecast, context, and perspective on what's going on. So for me, that means I'm all in, whether it's 24-hour day or a 7-day work week, whatever it is. That's just when I need to be there to give people what they want. And the rest of the year, it's obviously not as difficult. It's more of an 8-hour job, but I enjoy it. I love telling people about the weather. And hopefully, whatever forecast I put out there is going to be accurate and helps them plan accordingly so that their family and their friends and their home are well protected. So it's pretty interesting each and every year what big event's going to be the one that really defines the year, like the snow did so far this year.
100%. So you did, like I said at the very beginning of the show, you do a lot. I know I didn't even let you answer it because I was just giving you a compliment, but you do give so much back to the community, and this is a community connection show. What's that drive? I mean, you don't have to do all that stuff.
No, you're right. I don't have to, but I absolutely love it. I really feel that as much as I love my job as a television meteorologist, and that's my biggest passion, using my position in television to raise awareness for various organizations or charities, or teaching kids about the weather, or just emceeing various events. It's just a great way to connect with the community, highlight what they're doing in the community to make the community better. So I've just always loved it. And I probably do about 200 appearances a year, and they really are fun. And I don't know how else to put it. They're just a lot of fun, and you feel good about using your platform to help other people raise awareness to what they're making money for or what they're trying to promote.
Yeah, it's funny. This show actually had two different shows. Was an evolution right in the early days of COVID, and we
Uh,
started interviewing people making a difference, and they all have the same philosophy. I mean, you don't have to, but the answer you said is because I want to, and
right.
and I'm sure you feel the same way. These people you meet, you come out better from getting to meet them, right? People don't
Right. Now,
realize that.
yeah, no doubt there's a benefit for me too, because you hope these people, they get to know you, they like you, they're going to follow you or watch you on television. And ultimately that's how my bills are paid, by people following me. So I appreciate them. I always say, Ryan, the people that watch me, the people that follow me, they're really my employers, because
Yeah.
without them, I don't have a job and I can't provide for my family. So I appreciate everybody who is willing to watch or listen to what I have to say when it comes to the weather.
Well, tell me, you like you said, I'll let my wife at some point see when the show comes out about the wedge and El Nino and every other thing. I have cumulus clouds. I'm coming old school memory, but tell me, what do you enjoy? I know you like doing a little bit of travel when you get the time. What are some things you enjoy doing when you can get a minute to, live your life a little bit outside the weather?
Well, my wife, Cindy, who is an amazing woman who puts up with me, she loves being out at these events as well with me, which I think is really cool. And we don't have any children, so we can go out, go to a barbecue judging contest or MC an event. And people have actually asked her to come MC with me, which I think is really, really cool. So we love doing those things together. We love traveling. You only live once, as I like to say, and we work hard, play hard. So I'll do 24/7 to get us through a weather event, but I'm also going to take my time and go have fun skiing, or going to a beach or whatever it may be. So it's just a lot of fun doing that stuff.
100%. And didn't know, Cindy, does she enjoy doing some of that emceeing with you?
She really does. She was a little nervous the first time, and I said, "You don't have to do it." She goes, "No, I really want to do it," because she knows it's helping a charity event. We do a lot of those together, and I kind of laugh because I think people like Cindy more than they like me. So,
Well, that means you, yeah. What do we say? Outpunch your coverage, or whatever
right, yeah, outkicked
whatever
your coverage.
outkicked
That's
your
right.
coverage. Yeah, okay. The kickoff rules are getting me. With the
Right,
kickoffs.
right, yeah.
Now, what you were mentioning when you were kind of coming through? Did you have anybody kind of mentor you in when you have their leadership or communication skills when you were coming through meteorology? Did you kind of tip a cap to, hey, they showed me a way, how they did it a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was at NC State, I was interning at WCTI in New Bern, North Carolina, chief meteorologist at the time with Skip Waters. And I met him at the mall. He said, "Come on up, let's show you what we do here," kind of a thing. And so I learned a lot from him, not only about meteorology, but he's the one that really tipped me off that get involved in the community. It's good for everybody that gets involved. So I will always owe him a huge debt of gratitude for teaching me that. And then, of course, as you move on to other positions, for me, there are people in the business who were my great mentors for meteorology. And that includes my buddy Rob Perillo, who's in Lafayette, Louisiana, Tim Heller, who was in Houston, Eric Thomas, who was in Charlotte, and just some other great people over time that have been there every step of the way for me, helping me get better at what I do.
Well, that is awesome. And look, that's the thing. We all have those stories. I like to say, we all have a story. I mean, your story, but we all have one, and how we got to this moment. Now, in the ABC 15 Myrtle WPDE, you have it looks like you got a great group of colleagues there. Is that a
Yes.
really solid team?
Yeah, they really are. And I know this is going to sound cliche because it is not typical of television, but it really is like a family here. Jen and I, our main anchor, we go on vacation every year together with our spouses to go skiing. Connor is awesome. He's getting married to our morning meteorologist. And my team right now is as good as any team I've ever had. And it's because we're all, to me, we're all down to earth. We care about one another. And ultimately, we put the best product on we can and let the chips fall where they may. We're not going to sensationalize anything or create something that's not there. We just do what we got to do. In fact, one of our production manager just walked in, Boston Mike. He's been with us for 15 years or so, and he's phenomenal. We have a lot of fun with him as well. We all work together as a team and really feel like a family.
And I only ask you those quote unquote loaded questions because it comes across that way. I mean, it really does. I mean, authenticity, I often say, you can't, it's hard to fake that completely.
People figure it out very, very quickly. There's no question about that. And we probably have too much fun, and we have to be reeled in a little bit, at the end of a newscast, but we do have a lot of fun.
Yeah. And well, where is what was I going to ask you? What outside of the Myrtle and the beaches here, what's one of the coolest oceans or beaches you've been to?
Oh gosh, my wife and I have been to Jamaica,
Okay.
western part of Jamaica. Those beaches were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've been to the Bahamas several times, but it's usually in April for a conference, and it's still too chilly for me.
Yeah.
And I also, spent 4 years in Corpus Christi, Texas, so right there in the Gulf of
Oh,
Mexico
yeah.
is really cool as well. So.
Well, that's very cool. Well, so when you get in these situations, when we're talking to future leaders or different people that would be listening to the show, what are some things you would just advise people, the up and comers of younger generations, when they're going to run into whatever their career choices, adversity or hardships, or hey, it must be great to listen to Ed and Ryan. They got all the answers. I mean, but, what are some of the things when hey, it's all being on TV is amazing, but it's not all roses and glory. And
Oh,
so for those people just like, well, you guys got all the answers. Well, no, that is not true. But what
right.
might you say to them, when they're having a hard patch of life?
Ultimately, I tell people as they're getting started in any business, work hard and do what you can for your business or your employer. It's not about what can you do for me, because the employer wants to see you work hard. You want to gain the experience as well. And that is huge in our business. I just want somebody that's committed and passionate about what they're doing. And if they are, they're going to get better and they're going to advance. And there's not a bigger turnoff in an interview to hear somebody say, well, how many weeks vacation do I get? When do I have to work a holiday? And, that's an immediate, like, yeah, that's a red flag there. So, be passionate about what you do everything you can to get your foot in the door as an intern and then eventually as an employer, work extra hours, do whatever you have to do to separate yourself from everybody else.
Man, you literally almost gave the exact answer. I was telling somebody the other day, it's like, that is not what you ask about. Can you work remote? Can you do this and that? You pay your dues by going above and beyond.
Exactly.
And but you can see it. I mean, we're not here talking about the weather. I mean, you love what you do. I mean, you love what
Sure.
you do. I can see it in the community. You love it. And if I follow you, the platform that you have on TV, which hence hopefully brings on audience through social or traditional TV or whatever, then
Right.
translates into the real world relationships.
Right. And in this day and age, too, people don't sit down and just watch a newscast like they used to. So we have to be multi meteorologist, as I like to say. That means you need to meet people where they are. And a lot of times that's on social media, that's on YouTube, in general, any digital stuff. Television is almost second now compared to what we do on digital, but you have to be there everywhere if you plan to succeed in this business. Because if you concentrate only on television, people don't want to wait all day to get information. They had to back in the day
Oh
before
yeah.
the internet. There was no other choice, but now you have to meet them where they are.
Yeah, so you got that mainstay platform because people ask these questions, but I know you've got your Facebook page, your Twitter. I still say Twitter, X.
It's always Twitter to me.
Yeah, it's Twitter. Yeah, but before I forget to do it, what are your handles for that for people? Because I know a lot of people follow you, but I don't remember offhand, but they're pretty easy to find. I remember.
Yeah, for Twitter X, it's
Yeah,
just Ed. It's at Ed Piotrowski, just my name. On Facebook, it's Ed Piotrowski WPDE, and I think it's the exact same thing for Instagram. I don't
yeah.
do TikTok; I just never really got into that, and some of the other platforms. So I just concentrate on those three, basically.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, what kind of looking at 2026, what are some, do you got any objectives in front of you that you want to accomplish or, some things you're excited about going in? Well, we're in March, so going into the warmer time, hopefully.
Well, I mean, I just don't want to get fired. That's always a good thing, right? And make sure the check doesn't bounce. But
Yeah.
just to, I'm been working in television now for 35 years, so retirement is a lot closer now, than it used to be. So no matter what I do, whether it's another year or 5 years, I just want to finish strong. In other words, have the same passion, same work ethic all the way until the day I retire. I don't want to be one of those people like, yeah, he really got crazy toward the end there and didn't work very much. I just don't want that to be my legacy. So, always work hard. I always want to help build up the rest of our team so that they can move on and do other things as well. And we're always looking at the TV station to improve our digital footprint, to do more things, to have more fun with that, and to, obviously meet more people on the digital side of things. That's still a place that we all need growth on compared to what we had in television.
100%. 100%. So that is, yeah. You don't want to be that sitcom back in the day, hanging on for one more deer season. You want to go out,
Right.
with guns ablazing, and so again, we got so many people watching the shows. How do you? I got one question I didn't ask you earlier. Your values. I mean, things that are important to you. How do those drive every part of your life and what you choosing to put your time into, in work, out of work, whatever? I mean, there's certain things that, hey, this is what makes me tick and what matters.
Right. And I know this is going to sound cliche, but in my mind, everybody is created equal. I don't care if you're the CEO of a company or you're the janitor in my eyes. We're all identical. We're all the same. So I treat everybody equally, the same. And I just think that being a person who is kind and generous really goes a long way. You don't know how just a small act of kindness can really change somebody else's life, or give them a push in a direction that will help them tremendously. So that's just been something. And my faith, of course, as well, is a big part of that. And I just always want to be a shining example of good in the community, and with my family as well. They're always going to come first. But when I'm out and about, I want people to know that I'm a genuine person, and you can come up to me. We'll take pictures, do whatever you want. And just to be a good guy in a world that is
Yeah.
obviously very chaotic and often just crazy, just to kind of be a voice of reason. And on my Facebook page, I don't allow politics. It's all positive. You can get all the negative stuff somewhere else.
I kid you not, that last statement you just said is exactly why this show launched. I said, you know what? If you want to read all that stuff, there's 95% of the online world that we're not doing it here. And that's why when we bring great guests like yourself on,
Right.
it's funny, the faith, the values, the family, the community and yeah, I'm a real person. I'm a flesh and blood, I'm on TV, it's a part of it. Let me ask you this. I was just thinking, is
Right.
there, when you're doing the 24-hour days and just grinding it out or whatever, as much as you love the weather, is there a story or moment that you go back to? Is it, when you were a kid, watching that weather when you were growing up, or thinking of that person at home that really counting on you, that it goes in your mind that it's like, dude, I'm tired. I'm tired. We all get there, but that kind of
Right.
reverberates in the crux when you're in that challenge that comes out in your mind of why you're doing what you're doing.
When there are big weather events, people are searching for information so that they can make decisions, the right decisions to protect their life and family. So I know during those long, 24-hour days, it's really a lot of adrenaline and that drive, knowing that what I'm saying, I think is going to probably help somebody. So that is a huge motivating factor for me. And yeah, it does get tiring at times. We'll take a nap here and there. We have a nice little couch in our weather office that we can do that in a down point. But I just try to always be there to help people along the way. And the chief meteorologist I had before that was that way as well. And I saw what a big difference it made in his career in terms of people trusting him because they knew he was always going to be there for them. And as long as I'm here, I'm going to always do that.
I love that. Well, this is always a question people ask me, and I always try to figure out an answer. What would you say is like a fun fact or something that a lot of people wouldn't know about Ed? That there's something you enjoy or something. I can never think of anything that good. So, I'm trying to think of, you pretty much said them all, but is there anything like out
I
there?
don't. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people find it fascinating that I was literally born in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But that's really about it. I'm a pretty plain Jane, so to speak. Trying to think if there's anything. I don't know. I don't think so, Ryan. I wish I had something I could tell you, but
it's okay. It's okay.
I am who I am.
I never can answer that question either. I say the same thing. I'm like, I don't really know. But I guess Hawaii makes sense because military over in Hawaii, correct? Is that how that started for you?
Say that again, because I think you cut out.
Oh,
for
I'm
a
sorry.
second.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but Hawaii's got a military base, correct? So is that where?
Yes.
Okay, so your first 2 years were there. So that is a kind of a cool story. Probably didn't get to
it
enjoy
is.
it. Didn't get to enjoy the beaches at 18 months old, but that's okay.
No, that's
All right.
exactly right. But it was a lot of fun.
All right, so a couple more things, and and then you guys I know you got a lot to do. So if we're talking to people in the community right now, and they want to connect more about, hey, we got these great outreach things going on, and you're already covering a gazillion of them a year, so I'm not trying to put more on your plate, but how do they go about that? Because there are so many wonderful things going on, the schools and the communities,
Sure.
and we all can't say yes to everything, but how do they go about, reaching out if there's something in the future they're trying to build?
So, with me, I'm have an open door policy, open email policy, whatever. And I said, hey, if you got something going on, just email me or message me on Facebook. And if I can, as long as the station lets me do it and I can fit it into my schedule, I'll be happy to help out with that, to help raise awareness. So that part, and a lot of times when we have big events, we have community partners here at WPDE. Once a month, we have a different charity, I guess you can say, like the American Cancer Society, Meals on Wheels, whatever it may be. And we'll do stories on that. More of the anchor team will get involved to help raise awareness with that as well. So it's really on a station level. I do a lot more, obviously, as an individual, but yeah, all you have to do is reach out to me via Facebook or my email. And we even made my email easy. It's ed@wpde.com. We're not going to put the Piotrowski in because that gets spelled a million different ways.
I do understand, and I
You
do
know it.
understand. All right. So as we kind of come to a close here, first of all, kudos to all doing that and making a difference in people's lives. I mean, I do see the Facebook comments, and you reach for your digital footprint. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of lives, and you always got a few of the naysayers out there, but not you, I'm saying everybody, like, but I mean, you've
We
just
do.
got,
I do.
well, but it's impossible to please everybody, as you well know. And, that's what I wanted to say in the outset. You work all those 24-hour days, by golly, you deserve a time to go and enjoy yourself and live life to
Right.
the fullest, right? So
Absolutely.
so those last couple people, let's say somebody wants to get into the weather. We got a future
Okay.
generation coming up, not me, because I'm not competent enough to be in the weather, but the people
Wife
that,
is.
oh, yes, she is. And I can't wait for her to listen to this because she's not going to believe I went with the wedge and El Nino. I can't remember the other ones. I had like 4 of them, but she informed me the wedge is not, I had it all wrong. So, but so NC State, do they still have a program in meteorology?
Yes. They sure do. It's a BS in meteorology. In the Carolinas, you've got UNC Asheville, UNC Charlotte, and
Okay.
also the College of Charleston and University of North Carolina in Asheville. So there's a lot of schools
Wow.
in the Carolinas where you can get a degree in meteorology. And I think to your point is, the most important thing, if there are children out there that are watching or high school kids, math, science, and English are the 3 big things you're going to have to know to get a degree in meteorology. And the one thing too is that you practice a lot. You get in front of a camera, intern at a television station, or just set up a camera and a green screen. The kids do that all the time
Oh
now.
yeah.
And you practice. Then eventually you're going to send a digital video out and eventually get hired. And like I said before, do everything you can do to impress those people that you're a hard worker, and that'll help you advance more than anything else.
I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. And with that said, I know we've hit our limit, but it is the last thing I want to say is that degree those people are getting, whether it's from meteorology or whatever else, with the advent of AI. This is my belief. You can tell me, but I feel if you've really busted it, you really know your craft. AI is not going to replace you. You're going to get better at your craft versus somebody doesn't know anything and trying to use AI to, you know what I'm saying? And do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. We use models now that are AI based, and what they do is they just help, they're learning from their
Mhm.
mistakes. So it actually makes our forecast models better over time, but it still takes humans to actually interpret that. People are like, well, this model says this. I go, yeah, but sometimes those models are wrong, and here's why they're wrong. And that's what we learn through experience and education, is to know when the models are wrong. And the human is always going to make a better forecast than any computer out there over time. But AI is definitely helping us in terms of making better forecasts because they're learning very, very quickly when they do make a mistake.
Yeah, and that's what I've been telling students, the ones I've taught or whatever. I said, look, if you really, whatever it is, history, art, meteorology, if you're really good at AI, then you can look at it constructively and take it to the next level versus, you just input something and have no idea what you're getting out.
Right,
You know?
right, exactly.
So
I use AI. I'll write something up and then I'll run it through ChatGPT just to make sure that it's grammatically correct. Because as somebody who's a scientist, I'm not much of an English or a word, that's for sure.
no, I mean but I think and it's different generations. Listen, we're coming to an end. I know I was telling you the last question, but if you come into the end of the
Oh,
show,
yeah.
I mean, it's when the internet started or when social media started. This is tools at our disposal. And again, I feel if you know things, they can make you more efficient and make you better. But not learning the math and the English stuff when you were young kids or whatever, then you don't have any foundation to use such tools.
Exactly. I kind of look at AI. It's like before AI, you had a stick and you're going to try to hit a ball with a stick. Now with AI, you can try to hit that ball with a big fat bat.
Yes.
You have a better chance of hitting the ball, so to speak. It enhances your product. If you use it the right way, it's going to make you better and make your forecast better as well.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to close us out here real quick, Ed. But let me first just thank you so much for taking time to come on the Community Connection Show. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ryan. I love doing things like this, and long live your wife and her wedge. That's awesome.
I'm sure I screwed that part up too somehow, but I got these weather terms she says, and she loves the weather. So
That's
I
awesome.
do too. I do too. But I'm gonna close this out, and I just thank you again. Thanks. Keep up the great work in the community. Keep up the great work with the weather, and keep working hard and playing hard, Ed. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you very much.
All right, folks, you've been listening to another Community Connection show with Ryan Sauers. Had special guest Ed Piotrowski, WPDE Myrtle, ABC 15 with me today. And thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
This has been the Community Connection Show with Ryan Sauers. Stay on the lookout for new or past shows with community leaders wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you want to see the video interview of any show, visit communityconnectionstv.com. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we will see you next time.